Hey friends, and welcome back to Find Yourself in a Character, my weekly video series that takes us on an exploration of some of my favorite characters and their journeys. I'm Jenny D, author, consultant, and international promoter of Love and Triumph. In this week's episode, I talk about one of my own books, the Catalan Key. It is the third book in the Lost Heritage Trilogy series, and this focuses on the younger sister, Marissa Rossi. Now, I in my other two videos about Megan and Mia, the older sisters, I tell you a little bit about how I was part of that character to tell you how they developed. Now, in developing Marissa, she kind of came later. Like I knew that in the first book, I wanted like that sassy little bad seed, not with a good heart, but like, she was a spoiled brat. She's a baby of the family. So that kind of generic labeling of a character is what I did. But then as I started writing the books, I knew by the final book kind of things that would be revealed about her to make you understand who she is the way she is. Now, people who have just read the third book would be like, okay, I don't get her. But if you saw how it developed, that she's always pushed aside, Meg is the smart, successful one, and Mia's the sweet, endearing one with the kids. And then there's Marissa trying to make it as an artist and, always failing and not doing what everybody expects of her. She marches to the beat of her own drum. So as I built her, there was this darkness within her. And it wasn't darkness as in hurtful, like as in making her hurt other people. That's not like who she was. But no, she walked on the side of danger. She dabbled in things and she was very sexual. She was very like free-spirited and anti-rules and wanting to break them and not wanting to wait her turn and all that kind of stuff, which could seem obnoxious in the other things, in the other books. But in this book, I wrote her with a backstory that made you understand. And the trauma that she endured and the fact that she endured it alone because everybody was worried about everybody else. And she didn't have the support she needed. And it kind of represented how we can have a very strong family and everybody can love each other, but not everybody knows really what goes on behind closed doors, what happens in our lives. If we don't open up, this is what festers underneath. It becomes resentment and it makes us part of who we are. And in this journey to Spain, Marissa takes a deep look within her to see what makes her tick. And it's through her painting that she reveals she has so much resentment for her sisters and jealousy, and then so much anger towards the trauma she endured, and then so much confusion being caught between two men, her best friend and her boyfriend. And you see her actually dive into these. And then it comes to fruition when she's on this quest to find her dragon statue, which is bequeathed to her. And it's still the mystery of who's after them. And it all comes to a head in the most unexpected ways. But we see that spirited part of herself rise up in the best of ways to not be taken down, to not back down, and to just fully engage in and accept who she is. Because in the end, what I wanted to portray was that there's darkness and lightness in all of us. And that we need to accept within us that that's okay. Like we are not perfect angels. We all have these questionable sides to us, and that's totally okay. It's part of who we are. I mean, it's not, as long as we're not hurting anybody or really hurting ourselves, like we need to relax about our own expectations about ourselves and about other people that we love and just accept who we are. And reconcile both of them against each other and accept it. And I actually end up having a lot of fun writing her. And, the parts of her that I wrote were like inner parts of me that wanted to come out. Now, not all the way. I'm not going to reveal what parts are like part me and part just made up imagination. But there's this freedom in writing a character like Marissa that you can do that. It's kind of like on Halloween where you can be whoever you want to be. So when you write characters, you can explore these sides of yourself, right? And so I kind of did that, Marissa, and it made her really fun. And I just loved how by the end, she finally realized that she's worth it just the way she is. She's just as magnificent as her sisters, and she's just as loved, and she just never saw that. So that's a little insight into my youngest character, Marissa, and my book, The Catalan Key. If you want to check that out and the other two books in the series, you can find me at www.jennydauthor.com. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening about my book this week, and I will see you next week on Find Yourself in a Character.